Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about David Shafer, one of the 19 defendants in Fulton County and the lead, arguably, among the state actors. He was the former chair of the Georgia Republican Party. And we are seeing him act in ways that suggest a kind of conflict or coming apart between him, maybe other Georgians as well, and the Trump forces, which is a important development and the kind of thing that prosecutors love, and that is a big reason they charge multiple folks. All right, David Shafer. So he was always seen to be the kind of actor with that down in Georgia. Remember, there were 16 phony electors, some 8 of them, I think. Fani Willis gave immunity to, and Shafer was always top of the list of who wasn't going to get it. But there's the big question of how his conduct and that of the electors in general dovetails with the federal defendants in the Trump circle, the actual, presidential campaign, and was it running the show? And David Shafer came out of the box yesterday with an indication that that's the defense he is going to claim. So first, I'll get back to this in a moment, but he moved for removal just the way Mark Meadows has, Jeff Clark has, and Donald Trump can be expected to do, saying my case should go to federal court. I'll explain why that's kind of bizarre soon. But in doing so, he filed a transcript of a meeting that was held December 14th, 2020, with the electors, in which an attorney for Trump says, basically, you've got to do this on behalf of the president and the Constitution. We're doing this because the contest is ongoing. That's, of course, a lie. They cite a Hawaii case that really is not a solid precedent at all, and tell them if we didn't do this, our election contest would effectively be abandoned. We have Shafer asking that lawyer, and the lawyer saying, yes, that's correct. So Shafer is going to be pointing the finger at the Trump folks, and that will mean, even if they weren't the exact people that he interacted with, that's going to mean all the meetings with, this high-level strategy involving Giuliani, involving Chesbro, involving Eastman, involving Donald Trump. So, and I think Mark Meadows, but that he's a little bit more of a mystery man. So you have Shafer first, the first indication. This might suggest the need to sever the defendants. I won't. It's its own kind of complicated legal area, but basically, if they have really inconsistent defenses, you might need separate trials. That could help solve Fani Willis's problem of having such huge cases. It's just not practical to try 19 together. But the big noise, I think, is that Shafer is saying that it's Team Trump that did it. Okay, so now let me go back, as I said I would, to the removal point. Remember, removal, we knew that Jeff Clark was going to do it. We expect Trump to do it, and we weren't surprised that Mark Meadows did it, because it's for federal officials who are sued by, under state law. And Meadows has taken it a step forward, and this will be a really important motion when it plays out, to say he has immunity because he was basically just doing his federal job of chief of staff. He sort of listed out things, making, in a very anodyne way, making some phone calls for Trump and convening meetings and the like, whereas the counter position that you'll hear from in opposition to removal is, no, he's not making phone calls. He is helping foment a coup. That's in nobody's description of what the chief of staff does. We'll see about that. But David Shafer looks to actually ride on that very same train as a federal official. What official? An elector. So this is something that if it were successful, all of Georgia could do. He's saying that his role as an elector for Donald Trump is he's giving Georgia's electoral vote in the federal election. So he is a federal officer, and he gets to try to move his case to federal court and maybe even argue for immunity as well. We do not think of state officials who are, by virtue of state elections, designated electors for a particular federal candidate as being federal officials, but that's the gambit that he's playing. So he becomes now, among all the unknown, say half or so of the defendants, the sort of interesting pivot point, though, and most importantly, the one who it looks like is going to point the finger at Trump and team, or just in general the campaign. Exactly the kind of dynamic you want if you are Fani Willis, to get one of the defendants pointing, testifying, providing evidence, and the like. That's going to be a really important dynamic going forward in Fulton County. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.